What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Friday weather forecast, where we're going to take a look at the weather expected for the upcoming weekend. And it does look like it's going to be a rather active weekend in multiple areas. If you're new to my channel, thanks for clicking onto this video. Consider subscribing down below if you want to find out the latest weather conditions for your area. I'm always doing updates whenever the weather is active, and it looks like we're going to have two active areas. One being tomorrow across the southern plains in Texas. And then again, we're going to have a potential severe weather outbreak on Sunday for portions of Kentucky, Tennessee, maybe even northern Alabama. There's a system we're watching for that area. So first off, taking a look at the satellite picture here, you can see this old area of low pressure is still spinning up in the northeast. But the good news is air quality levels from the smoke that it was drawing in from Canada, they have gotten better. Air quality levels in this region are improving, and we're seeing a lot of that smoke starting to push east. There's still some air quality concerns back across portions of the Ohio Valley. That should gradually improve as we go throughout the weekend. There are some showers and thunderstorm activity wrapping around that low, and we can see here on satellite there's an eruption of showers and thunderstorms in the plains back up through the northwest again, much like we've been seeing many of times this week. Taking a look at the national radar picture, you can see those showers in the northeast, and you can see this shower and thunderstorm activity in the plains back on through the Pacific Northwest. There are some flooding concerns for this area. There's also some showers in a much needed area over here in Florida, where they do need the rain. Moving on, taking a look at the national hazards map, you can see this gray here in the Ohio Valley, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, the Delmarva. That is for air quality concerns. The air quality is still bad, not as bad as the last couple days. It is gradually improving, and I can tell you here where I'm at in Philadelphia, I can actually see a little bit of blue sky today, so that is some significant improvement. Wednesday was just absolutely horrible here with the bad air quality. We do have these flood watches that are up for the mountainous range. Portions of Idaho, and even up here in Montana, Washington, Oregon. There is definitely a flood risk ongoing there that is going to be a problem, maybe even into the weekend. Let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow. We can see here there is this large enhanced risk for portions of Texas. Dallas, it's going right through to Hardy View, extreme southeast Oklahoma, southwest Arkansas, and even portions of Louisiana. Why? Not so much because of tornadoes. I'll be honest, a tornado cannot be ruled out for tomorrow, but there is a wind threat in this area, and there's an even greater threat, which would be hail. And there's actually, despite there's being a 30% area, outside of that area and within that area, there is a hatched area for hail. There could be hail up to 2 inches in diameter, maybe even bigger, maybe even up to baseball size hail. It is possible tomorrow that there will be some really large hail in this area, so you want to pay close attention to that. Moving on now to the Weather Prediction Center, and we do want to take a look at the expected excessive rainfall. And you can see here, there is a moderate risk that is in effect for portions of Montana, where I do think there are going to be some flooding concerns. As you saw on radar, there are ongoing showers and thunderstorm activity, and some cells are training in this area, so it is definitely a risk. Tomorrow there are multiple slight risk areas, one down here in the southern plains, another one up here again for Montana, and western Iowa and eastern Nebraska. You could see some flooding concerns tomorrow. Then there is a day 3 for Sunday. We're not terribly concerned about the flood threat going through Tennessee and portions of Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. It's the severe weather threat there that I'm more so concerned about. But nonetheless, there is a flooding risk there. And we also have a flooding risk on Sunday for Colorado as well. Now let's take a look at the National Hurricane Center real quickly. And as you can see, over the next 48 hours, nothing expected. We go to the 7-day graphic, nothing expected. We don't concern ourselves about tropical weather until we get beyond next week. Then we have to start watching the Caribbean and perhaps the Gulf of Mexico. There's been some hints. I'm not terribly impressed because of how far out it is. As we get closer, then we'll pay more attention to it. This weekend, we have to put our eyes on this potential severe weather outbreak, too, actually. So let's time this out for you. If you're saying maybe you live in the Dallas area, what time could you expect severe weather tomorrow? Well, you could see a couple rounds of severe weather. Here is the 3KM NAM model, and it is showing northeast Texas. There will be some ongoing thunderstorms. There may be some sort of a mesoscale convective system that forms in Oklahoma and goes southeast into Louisiana. Behind that, some more storms are going to develop. Look what happens here. You get this outflow boundary-like feature that it's showing here, and it pops more storms. Look at this. It is showing storms right over the Dallas metro area. Look at that. That's relatively impressive, and that would be tomorrow evening between about the hours of 6 to 9 p.m. Central Time. That first area that comes through, this first mesoscale convective system, it gets going relatively early in Oklahoma, and it quickly races southeast, actually gains some steam in the afternoon. And this second feature, it's uncertain whether or not that's actually going to become a mesoscale convective. So let's widen this back out, and we will take a look at a wider view, because we also want to show you this. There's going to be a developing area of low pressure in the Central Plains tomorrow, and that's what we have to concern ourselves for Sunday. This developing area of low pressure is going to, one, it's going to add energy to the atmosphere. Two, it's going to pull in some stronger instability, and I want to show you that. There could be some strong instability that sets up from Texas through to the Kentucky and Tennessee valleys. And it's these moderate instability levels that set up on Sunday that have me concerned, because you have a deepening area of low pressure, you have a moderate area of instability, you will have some wind shear to work with, and watch what happens here. Here's the area of low pressure. As I advance this, you can see this large line of thunderstorms gets going from essentially Texas all the way up into the Ohio Valley. It's possible we see a slight risk added for the Texas area on Sunday. You're going to see really high instability levels. Cape could be close to 4 to 5,000, which is extremely impressive. The question for that area is, will the capping be able to break? It clearly breaks across Kentucky and Tennessee Valley, so places like Louisville, Paducah. If you're down in Tennessee, Nashville, you want to pay close attention in these areas, as there will be a significant threat for straight line winds with this cluster. You could also see a few hail cases. Could there be a few isolated tornadoes? Yes, because there is going to be some shear present, but I am deeply concerned about the straight line wind potential, and it would not surprise me whatsoever if this gets upgraded to an enhanced risk, because look at this. It does continue down into Alabama and then eventually into Georgia, and this will be probably a quasi-linear convective system known as a QLCS. I don't think it's going to be a MCS or derecho, at least not at this point, but QLCS is definitely possible with this system. Going beyond this point, then we do have shower and thunderstorm activity expected for Monday across portions of the Mid-Atlantic, which is some really good news because we really need rain in our region here. It's been exceptionally dry. All right, let's take a look at some temperatures that are expected for this weekend. And as you can see here, it's been a very hot day across portions of Texas, and that's going to continue. It's going to be hot all weekend. Highs are going to be in the mid to upper 90s, maybe even values as high as 100 in southern Texas. And tomorrow we're going to see the humidity increase slightly in the Mid-Atlantic region and across portions of the Ohio Valley. Temperatures will rise more tomorrow, probably be mid-70s. And then Sunday, things are really going to heat up in the Mid-Atlantic. Look at this. We're expecting highs in the mid to upper 80s with humidity. And again, it's going to be another hot day on Sunday in portions of Texas. Hot day in Florida. Not so hot in the Pacific Northwest. And as we take a look here at New England, again, not so hot, and the Great Lakes. So places like Chicago, you're actually going to be below average on Sunday. And look at these lows. Sunday night into Monday. Yes, those are 40s across the Great Lakes, and you're not seeing very warm temperatures across the west as well. Below average temperatures expected even as we start out next week, and there could potentially be another warm day on Monday for places like Florida on up into Virginia. But beyond that, because of the clouds and showers, I think most of Pennsylvania is going to be below average temperatures. And southern Texas, yes, you're going to stay very hot yet again. The rest of the country on Monday, relatively average to slightly below average temperatures. You do get a warm pocket where it's not raining up in Maine, but again, west of that, look at this. The NAM model is actually projecting 40s for highs underneath the low in Michigan. I think that's a little extreme. Maybe 50s will happen, but it's definitely something we have to watch. Alrighty, let's take a look at the longer range. Here's the GFS. Here comes the system we're talking about for the weekend. Then you can see here it does get stuck over the Great Lakes. We do have some showers that set up midweek, showers and thunderstorm activity down in the south. And maybe later next week, a front will try and stall over Florida. Can't make any guarantees for that, but if that should happen, it will definitely help your drought situation. And I do want to take this further out. Here we go. We're all the way out to the 250, over 250 hours. Unreliable range. But for many runs in a row, the GFS has been hitting at some tropical activity in the Gulf. It's too soon to say if that's going to happen or not, folks, but you know what? Just keep that in the back of your mind that there could be some tropical activity down the line, because as you can see here, I'm going to go to the 500 millibar setup here. You can see this is under the ridge. We do have a cutoff low in the west. We do have some sort of a cutoff activity in the north. And remember, we're looking at June 19 at this point. Today is June 9th. So it would potentially be a setup for there to be some sort of a tropical system underneath here. Just keep your eyes peeled. We'll have more on this down the line, of course, if it actually does become something. Maybe it won't even exist a few days from now, but just something for you to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at rainfall here. Next 1 through 7 days. Yeah, it's going to be relatively wet in the Tennessee Valley, some of the Gulf Coast states, even Kentucky. You're looking at a really wet period here, so definitely no drought concerns for you. There could be isolated 4 to 5 inch amounts over the next 7 days, not only from that QLCS that I was telling you, the convective system on Sunday, but also those multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms as you get in the middle of next week. So places like Birmingham, Alabama, Nashville, Tennessee, you definitely could have some flooding, flash flooding concerns over the next week. The Northeast, look at this, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall expected. That's good for you, like places like Binghamton, New York, Albany, New York. You come up here into New Hampshire, Maine. Yes, you could definitely see some beneficial rainfall. But places like Philadelphia, Baltimore, D.C., Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, it's not going to put a big dent into the drought. Pittsburgh, maybe up to 1.5 inches over the next week or so, but nothing terribly impressive. Four Corners region looks dry, and you can see here as we get into Montana and portions of the plains, some shower and thunderstorm activity. California mountains, some shower and thunderstorm activity expected there as well, and nothing terribly impressive in Florida. It's not going to end the drought, but nonetheless, anything that you get, take it. It is beneficial. Let's take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Below average in the west, below average temperatures in the northeast. Above average is going to continue in Texas, above average in Florida, and this little wedge of above average in the northern plains. And upper Midwest, 8 to 14 days, continuing to be slightly above average there. Well above average in Texas and Florida. Below average in the west, below average in the northeast. As we take a look at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, you can see here the Rocky Mountains, well above average precipitation. And then we have above average precipitation across Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, so places like Atlanta and Birmingham, you're going to be above average precipitation. Below average precipitation in Texas, Florida, the Great Lakes region, slightly above average precipitation in the 6 to 10 day range in Maine, then 8 to 14 days, above average for a large swath of the country with well above average expected in Utah. That's great news for Lake Mead. Below average in Texas and near normal in Florida. Georgia near normal in the northeast. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's weather forecast for the weekend. Keep an eye on the channel. We'll probably have a short video out tomorrow, if necessary, updating on the Texas severe weather, and we'll probably have another full forecast update again on Sunday, updating on this potential QLCS that is going to impact portions of the Tennessee Valley, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, and Kentucky, because that is concerning. And again, I do think that could get upgraded to an enhanced risk. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.